Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our final instalment for European Week of Sport. This afternoon, we're joined with Michael Connolly to facilitate a live yoga for badminton class. I won't delay, and I will hand you over to Michael. I hope that you all enjoy this afternoon's final instalment for European Week of Sport. So there you are, Michael. I'll let you get straight through it, and any questions, just pop me a chat.
Thank you very much, Carla. Welcome everybody. Welcome to our yoga class, specifically for badminton. I'd like to welcome you to our badminton home here in Waterford, the Lady Lane Badminton Club, and introduce you to my good friend and fellow yoga teacher, Eamon Rocket. So how it's going to go is we're going to do a small yoga class. We're going to give you all the elements. We'll do a little bit of breathing, which is known as pranayama in yoga at the beginning. We'll do 3 to 5 minutes. We'll then do 20 to 25 minutes worth of physical movements, which are known as asana. And these physical movements will be absolutely dedicated and very much yoga specific. The shapes themselves, the yoga shapes, carry benefits for the body, and they stretch different parts and require different parts of the body to strengthen. But there's also principles that we do inside of the poses that we will talk about, and we will invite you to try on, if you like, just like you try on a t-shirt or try on your badminton racket, or the right shoes are important, to try on these principles and see how they work for you. And it might require a second watching and a few days' time to really embed those principles into your body. But I would be kind of merely thinking that once you embed these principles, your body will like them, and will invite you to do more of them. Then we'll close it out with doing a little bit of relaxation, where you simply lie down, arms down by your sides, and you simply integrate all the benefits of the class. So that's what a standard yoga class is like. This is a shorter class, but we're still going to get everything that we need to get into it. Because it's badminton specific, we're going to work with the spine, and there's really only 6 particular movements of the spine. There's a forward bend, which rounds the spine, which simply closes the front body and opens the back body. Yeah, there's a back bend, which again strengthens the back chain of muscles. So what it does is it opens the front body and strengthens the back body. There's a side bend where you shorten one side and lengthen the other side, and vice versa. And then there's twists, where we actually twist the vertebra. So there's only really 6 movements of the spine. We are going to work into these 6 movements. We're also, because it's badminton, we're going to do some work on the hips, on the hamstrings, on the quadriceps, and of course then the shoulders. So that's the full package. Again, you're very, very welcome. And let's begin with the breathing. So if you would lie out on your back. Now, if you prefer to sit, we can do this breathing sitting. However, it feels easier and the body's more receptive in a lying down position. So if you have enough space, lie out on your back, arms down by your sides, and palms facing upwards. Simply close your eyes and let your awareness begin to settle inwards into your body. Life requires of us that our senses are projected outwards into the world of people and places and things and environments. And our yoga is an invitation to draw your awareness inwards, to just be. And part of just being is to have a physical connection to your body. There is an intelligence to your body. It's known as somatic intelligence. And when you turn your awareness inwards, you just reside inside of that somatic intelligence. So simply take a moment or two just to turn your awareness inwards and just feel your body. Now feel your body as it is. If it's slightly injured, it's slightly injured. If it's tired, it's tired. We're not trying to make the body anything but what it is. Just feel your body as it is. From here now, just notice both legs and how both legs extend from your pelvis. And just make it so that both legs extend equally. It wouldn't be unusual for one leg to be a little bit drawn in while the other one is extending. So just both legs extending equally. This begins to settle the pelvis and in turn settle the base of the spine. Now the shoulders, have both shoulders just releasing back to the mat equally, and extend your arms from your shoulders equally. This sets the shoulders and the tone of the neck and the base of the skull. From here now, soften your jawline. So simply bring your awareness to the bottom of your ears and draw and trace your awareness from the bottom of your ears to the corners of your mouth, just softening through that line. So your jawline begins to soften. Take your awareness to your eyes, and even though your eyes are closed, hold the intention of all the little muscles in around your eyes, simply softening and quietening. Now we have our body in a receptive environment, in a receptive opening. And the invitation is to simply to breathe with awareness, mindful breathing for the next maybe minute and a half to 2 minutes. On the inhale, just feel the inhale and just enhance the broadening of the rib cage. Just let the rib cage gently expand on the inhale. It's like we're facilitating the inhale. And then as you exhale, simply slow down and lengthen the exhale. It's like you're controlling the exhale, slowing it down and lengthening. Do both of these breaths. Do it through the nose. So the inhale is through the nose, the rib cage gently expands. The exhale is through the nose, and you simply just lengthen and slow down the breath. Our breath is usually unconscious. And for us to put conscious awareness to the breath is a wonderful, wonderful thing for us to do, with so many benefits of mind and body. Everything we do with our mind finds an address in our body. Everything we do with our body finds an address in our mind. And everything we do with our breath finds an address in both body and mind. And just facilitating the inhale creates an openness, an expansion, nearly an ease between mind and body. And then as you slow down and lengthen the exhale, it creates a centeredness. It puts the body into that rest and digest phase, into that very calm, centered phase. There's no right or wrong way. There's simply you exploring your breath, meeting the inhale and facilitating it, and then on the exhale, simply slowing it down and lengthening. Slow it down and lengthening. Enjoy a few more exchanges of breath. Now simply smile your eyes behind closed eyelids. Let your breath settle back into its own natural flow. And very simply, open your eyes. So you put your body into a calm, so you don't want to just jump up off the floor. So you want to come up off the floor with awareness. So simply bend up your knees, roll over to the right, and come all the way up onto hands and knees. So there's a set of poses called cat tilts and dog tilts that we're going to do now. So the first thing is just to set yourself up on hands and knees. And there's chains in the body. And the way we set up our hand echoes all the way through our arms, into our shoulders, and into the thoracic spine. The way we set up the hips moves all the way through the pelvis and into the lower spine. So you want to set up your hands in such a way that your index fingers are pointing forwards. Yeah. So none of the hands turned in. So index fingers pointing forwards. And you want the index knuckle to be outer shoulder distance apart. So if if I could draw a line from the outer shoulder all the way down, the index knuckle would be on that line. So that's how you set yourself up. You want your shoulders directly over the hands, and you want the knees just a little bit behind the hips. Perfect, like aiming at shoulder. Now on the exhale, you curve your spine. So what you do is you take your chin into your chest, you lengthen down your tailbone, and you draw your pubic bone up towards your belly button. So as you can see from aiming, that's stretching the entire back chain of muscles and shortening the front chain. Now that's called cat pose. It's like a cat waking up in the morning, stretching its spine. So this stretches out the spine. Now we're going to do what's called dog tilt. Now what's important about dog tilt, more than the arch in the back, is the length. So come back to neutral. Now guys, back to neutral. Now take the armpits forwards, press the upper leg bones back, and then you tilt. So you want to tilt and open the spine. So this is known as dog pose. So now we're going to use the breath. We're going to do these 5 exchanges. So exhale, cat. Inhale, dog. Exhale, cat. Inhale, dog. Exhale, cat. Inhale, dog. Exhale, cat. And inhale, dog. Last one. exhale, cat. And inhale, dog. And come back to neutral spine, the natural curve of the spine. So child poses next. So you take your knees super wide, the width of the mat if you have one, toes together, and you simply sit your bum back onto your heels. You do want your head to rest. So if your head doesn't naturally touch the floor, do one potato, two potatoes, so just make fists. Yeah, there you go, and let your head rest. We're just going to take about 10 to 15 seconds here, just let everything settle before our next pose. Good job, everybody. Come back up onto hands and knees. And our next pose is called Prowling Tiger. Now, Prowling Tiger is about the connection between your legs into your pelvis, your arms into your shoulders, and how they all connect to the core. Yeah, so there's a principle inside of here. There's the movement, which some of you might know from your fitness as Superman. Yeah, but the principle is hugging midline. So the first thing I'm going to ask Eamon to do is to lengthen out through his right leg. And what Eamon wants to imagine, and what all of you want to imagine, is that this right foot is against a wall. Yeah, and you want to be pressing your right inner heel and the ball of the foot, big toe mount, into a wall. Yeah, so you're pressing through the inner heel more. This engages the inner thigh rather than the outer thigh. Now you take your left hand forwards and you have your thumb facing upwards. Now what you want to imagine is that there's the center line and you're drawing everything to midline. So this right leg, and you're going to foot against the wall, is hugging midline. The left hand is hugging midline. Everything in the body is just hugging midline. Now to switch on your core, you lengthen your tailbone and wrap the flesh on the bone from your left waistline all around your finger belly, just engaging the midline. You breathe here for one exchange of breath, and then come back to hands and knees. Good job. Second side, left leg extends back. Again, you pause very mindfully. Imagine that the left inner heel is pressing into an imaginary wall, and the ball of the foot, big toe side, pressing into an imaginary wall. Then you lengthen out the right arm, have the thumb facing upwards, and then you just come into the middle. This builds confidence, this builds strength, this builds an awareness. So anytime that you're drawing in like this, it's really nurturing for the body, very centering, very composing. Sometimes we feel our energy is scattered. This draws us all the way back in. Now you lengthen the tailbone and wrap the flesh on the bum under, core engages. Take one full exchange of breath here. Wonderful, come back to hands and knees. And child pose again, please. Knees wide, toes together, and sit all the way back. Do the hand position with the one potato, two potato, and let the head settle. So our next pose is one that most people who've done yoga will know of anyway. It's called downward facing dog. So you position the hands and knees again. Yeah. It's really important that the index knuckle stays earthed. Yeah. It's not unusual for people to take the weight out here on the outside of the hand. You want the index knuckle well earthed, and then you grip with your fingers a tiny little bit. Then you take your knees off the floor and press back. Now this is just one of the most fantastic of the yoga poses. Primarily, yoga, we do inversions. In other words, we do handstands and headstands and shoulder stands. But this is the first of the inversions because the pelvis is higher than the heart. So there's a release through the body. So this is very centering, very calming, very releasing. So go into that awareness. Rather than working hard or trying to do anything, simply just be in the pose. Breathe in through your nose, out through your nose, and just let the pose bring to you what it brings to you. Beautiful. Now we're walking forwards. So slowly walk forwards. This is a forward bend. Just scoop across it in here. So this is a forward bend, and this is going to make the hamstring. Your feet about hip distance apart, and make sure that your feet are pointing forwards. How we align our feet is from the center of the heel to the center of our second toe. Again, if one hip is tighter than the other, and especially in badminton we rely on one side so much, it wouldn't be unusual for one foot to want to go off to the side of it. And you can begin to fix this and re-engineer balance in your body by just having both feet pointing forwards together. Then you bring your awareness up that the kneecaps are pointing forwards together. Yeah? And then you can soften the knees if that's what it takes to get your fingertips to the floor. Yeah, so you just want to have your fingertips on the floor and you can soften the knees as much as you need to do this. This is, a forward fold. So we want to fold at the hips. So just enjoy your breath here. And what you can see is Eamon is holding right here at the hips, not here in his low back. So if you have to soften your knees another little bit to try to get your belly down onto your thighs, do that. And then once the belly is down on your thighs, you now press your heels through the floor, and that will begin the process of straightening your legs. Once the legs begin to straighten, you'll feel it in the hamstrings. Now to come up through the floor, you simply imagine that you're in a gym, in a leg press, yeah, and just press your feet through the floor to inhale and come up all the way. And exhale, hands through. Good job, guys. We're going to do a little pose that's called a salute to the sun. It's a flowing set of poses. So just follow along with Eamon the best that you can, and I'll cue it the best that I can. So stand at the front of your mat, inhale the hands up over your head, and on the exhale, forward bend and touch the floor. Inhale, step your right foot to the back of the mat, pause here for a moment, and now hug midline to come up. So we're going to come up into what's called high lunge. So hug midline and hands on the hips. The moment you come up, you're hugging midline. So the back leg, just like it was in Purling Tiger, everything is hugging midline. Then you lengthen down your tailbone to stabilize your pelvis. Then on an inhale, you take your hands up over your head. Fabulous. On the exhale, take the hands through center, touch the floor, and step back into downward facing dog. The next pose, guys, is plank pose, and we're really going to work the core now. So we're going to start getting really, really into the core. So inhale forwards to board pose. You pause here. You bring your awareness right here, guys, to the front hip points. And for the first 10 seconds that you're here, you're wrapping the front hip points towards midline. So you're simply just switching almost on the transverse abdominal muscles. So 10 seconds, 15 seconds, just working these muscles here. It wouldn't be unusual for one side to feel stronger than the other. So you move into like a meditation to just get these working. Then you go to the waistband and you engage the glutes, you throw the glutes downwards, and this engages the lower part of the rectus abdominis muscles. So this is good now. From here, take your knees to the floor, take a big breath into the back body, and on the exhale, go forwards and down to lie onto the floor. Our next pose is what's called Cobra Pose, so it's a back bend. Press the hands down into the floor. On the inhale, press the hands down and pull them back to inhale and come all the way. Now, do not try to come higher, but if you could imagine, just 1 second, and I get this. If you could imagine inside of your rib cage is a foam roller, yeah, and that's your rib cage, simply just try to rotate the foam roller. So you're not trying to come higher, you're going right into the rib cage, you're just opening up the rib cage a little bit. Shoulder blades go down your back, the sternum to the breastbone lifts, you get a little bit of an opening, and on the exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing down. Good job, guys. On the inhale, step your right foot to the front of the mat. Take 2 goes to get it in, that's absolutely perfect. Take your time, be gentle with yourself. Now that we're ready, hug midline and come all the way up to high lunge. Hands around the hips, you simply just draw the legs into midline, lengthen down the tailbone, and then on the inhale, you take your hands up over your head. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. Now on the exhale, take the hands through center, touch the floor, and step forwards into forward fold again. This is the hamstring, so soften the knees and get the pelvis to hinge down onto the front of your thighs more. Yeah, now your whole upper body, so from your waist here, let go of your upper body. Let go of your upper body, just let your upper body be heavy to the floor. While the upper body is heavy to the floor, press the legs through the floor and you're going to get a lovely little hamstring awakening. Root deeply and inhale and come all the way. Exhale, hands through center. Good job, guys. We're going to lead with the second leg, and in the middle of it, we're going to do 2 twists. So we did say we're going to do forward bends and back bends, twists and side bends. So here we go. Inhale, full elongation. Exhale, forward fold. It's left leg leads now. So inhale, step the left leg to the back of the mat, hug midline, and come all the way. Keep the legs hugging in. This is medicine for your legs, medicine for the strength, medicine for the whole chain of muscles, from the feet, through to the legs, through to the pelvis, through to the core. Lengthen your tailbone and take the hands up over your head. Now we're going to do a twist here. So on the exhale, take your hands through center and take your left hand to the left outside corner of the mat. Take your right hand to the ceiling. Now the legs hug towards each other, and from your lower ribs, so it's not from about 3 inches above your belly button, you start turning your lower ribs up to the ceiling. Then you turn your heart up to the ceiling. Then you turn your shoulders up to the ceiling. Then you have a lovely smile. Then on the exhale, touch the floor and step back, downward facing dog. We're going into strength again, so tell yourself you're going in, be prepared, let's do it. Inhale, forward, board nose. Straight away to the front hip points and switch them on. 10 seconds here, just cultivating, switching on those core muscles, transverse abdominal muscles. Switching them on, switching them on, switching them on. Now add to the glutes. So the glutes now fire down and you get a little lift in your belly. Little lift in your belly. Have a little smile here. You can keep your knees up. If you wish, you can put your knees down to the floor. If you're hardcore, you just follow him. Take a big breath into the back body and exhale and come forwards and down, and then love the floor. Extend out the legs. Press the hands down into the floor, and on the inhale, push the hands down, draw them towards you, and inhale and come. Now, forget about trying to come higher. Just keep the hands down, pull the hands back, and go into the ribcage, and see if you can turn the ribcage, just like that foam roller. Can you lift your heart a little higher? Can you take your shoulder blades down your back? There you go. Just turn it a little bit. Take your chin back a little bit. Take the corners of the mouth back a little bit. Smile a little bit. There you go. Roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Good job, guys. Left foot is coming forward. So on an inhale, take the left foot forwards, hug midline and come all the way. Hug midline and come all the way. Lengthen that tailbone, hands up over the head. Beautiful. Now we're going to do our twist again. So the hands come down through center. The right hand goes to the right front corner of the mat, and the left hand to the ceiling. The legs hug inwards. That stabilizes the pelvis. And then from the rib cage, not the lower back, from the rib cage, the ribs start turning. You turn the ribs up to the ceiling. So yeah, and then the heart and the shoulders all the way over. On the exhale, touch the floor and step all the way to the front of the mat. Hang out here, just bend the knees a little bit, let the hips get really hinge forwards, really hinge forwards. You can even take the hands off the floor and just let your upper body be weighted and be heavy. And then to awaken the hamstrings, press the feet straight through the floor and the legs will straighten and the hamstrings will go. Hello. Now root deeply, press the feet through the floor, and inhale and come all the way up. Good job, guys. We're going to do a pose now that opens the hips, and it's called side angle pose. So you want to step to the wide end of the mat, have your feet, what we call wide stance. Now, wide stance is what's comfortable for you to have your feet. So there's no rule on this. In an advanced practice, there is. It's the width of your wrists. Yeah, so you want the heels to be the same height as your wrists, the same width as your wrists when your hands are out. But for today's practice, it's just have your feet wide wherever you want, wherever is comfortable is perfect. So we're going to start with the right leg. You're going to turn your right foot 2 half turns to have your right foot turned out at 90 degrees. So you're then going to bend your knee. You're going to bend your knee so that your knee is directly over your ankle. Place your right elbow then on your right knee and take your left hand out at shoulder height. Now, we're doing a principle called integrate the shoulders. So what happens here is Eamon is going to take the awareness to his hand. It's going to draw the energy all the way back. Now, if you're looking at that from the side, what you see is there's the arm extended from the shoulder, and there's the arm integrated into the shoulder. So you're just going to draw the head of the arm going back and do your integration. Once you get your integration, you're going to take the hand up over your head and get as long as you can from your outer left heel to your middle finger. Yeah? Keep the legs nice and strong. The legs are hugging towards each other. Turn the belly up to the ceiling. Now, guys, we're going to start to work the outer hips a little bit. So press the feet into the mat. Don't come up at all. Press the feet into the mat and start to stretch the mat apart for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Press the feet through the floor and come all the way back up to standing. Good job, guys. Square the back foot in, so the right foot turns in, and the left foot turns out 2 half turns. Bend the knee to 90 degrees, so that the knee is over the ankle. Do not let the knee go past the ankle. So the knee stays over the ankle. Take your left elbow onto the left knee. Take the right hand out. Really important that you take your time and you integrate that shoulder. So you draw the head of the arm all the way. Then you take the hand over the head and have full stretch. There you go, full stretch. The belly starts turning up to the ceiling gently. Now guys, press the feet through the floor and pull the mat apart. For 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, and for 5. Press the feet through the floor and come all the way. Good job. Step the feet in. And we're going to do the first of our balance poses. So it's really, really good to be able to, every time we stand on one leg, we cause the core to switch on in a specific way. Then when we stand on the opposite leg, it causes the other side of the core to switch on as well. Now the other thing is it's very good for our brain and our thinking, our cognitive awareness, because every time we stand on the left leg, it's the right hemisphere of the brain that fires up. And when we stand on the right leg, it's the left hemisphere. So by doing these poses, these standing poses, and spending the same amount of time, 30 seconds maybe on each leg, you're actually balancing the brain. So if you're somebody who's always creative, yeah, you're firing up the analytical side. If you're always analytical, you're firing up the creative side. So they're really good, as well as the core stabilization. So stand into the left leg and take the right leg up to wherever it feels comfortable. Now, there's no harm in going all the way up. It does open the hips, but there's no need. So once we do this, we come into midline. So the right leg, the elevated leg, hugs into the left inner thigh. But then from the left outer hip here, you firm the legs together. Now, if you don't do that, the pelvis is a bit pelvis is going with gravity towards the floor. The moment you squeeze the legs, you should feel that the pelvis is like toning and really lifting up. That's when you lengthen your tailbone and take those hands up over your head. Then it's simply breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. One more. In through the nose, and out through the nose. Slowly come back to standing, and we'll do the opposite leg. So now stand onto the right leg and take the left leg up. Again, that left leg hugs into midline. The right leg hugs into it. Take the tailbone down and inhale the hands up over the head. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. Last one, guys. In through the nose and out through the nose. Good job, guys. We're going to come to hands and knees, so come back to standing and come down onto hands and knees. Now, this pose is called Prowling Tiger. So Prowling Tiger is going to open the quadriceps here. It's good for the hips, the deeper psoas muscle, and if we can get a little bit of a twist and a quadricep stretch into it, it's a mighty pose. But there's two sections to it, and we'll see how we get on. So the first thing, I'll face the camera so you'll see what's happening here as well. So you want to take your right foot, yeah? You want to take your right foot up to the outside of your right hand. So wherever your right hand is, the right foot comes up. Now, where you place your left hand is important now. So your left hand, if anyone just tries to come into a deep lunge now, I feel like he can't. So he wants to place this left hand, one full hand point forwards, one full hand point out to the left. Now he can take his body weight forwards. So it's like he can go behind him and push him forwards. So go nice and deep into the pose. Nice and deep into the pose. And just breathe here. Breathe here, breathe here. Now guys, press your left knee into the floor. And imagine you're trying to bring your left knee up into your chest. Draw your left knee forwards and slowly take your take your left heel up towards your bum. Take your right hand back to say hello to it. Turn your palm up if you can. Now all of a sudden there's lots going on. Yeah, all of a sudden there's lots going on. So you're in a lovely deep lunge. Now we've got a quadricep stretch, we've got a twist, we've got a deep shoulder opening. Loads going on for a moment. So just breathe, 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 and release. Fantastic. Back to hands and knees. Change sides. Left foot comes up to the outside of the left. Take the right hand forwards and out to the right and go deep into the pose. Now this might be where you stay. You might not get the bind, and that's perfectly okay. Perfectly okay. Now press the right knee into the floor, draw the right knee towards you, take the right heel up to your bum, take the left hand back. So we're getting our lunge, we're getting our twist, we're getting our shoulder opening, we're getting the quadricep stretch. And release, touch the floor, and step back into downward facing dog. So downward facing dog has a refreshing quality to the body. So just refresh the body by stepping into downward facing dog. In through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the nose. Simply breathe and enjoy the pose. Then come down onto child pose. out through the nose. In and out through the nose. And then slowly come up to sitting. So there's a core stabilization pose that we do in yoga called boat pose. So for boat pose, you start sitting with both feet flat onto the floor. You take your hands then behind your knees, and you draw your knees, it's like you're lifting your knees upwards and towards you until you're on your toes. And then you just take your toes off the floor. And you can stay here with your toes kind of an inch or two off the floor. To add to this, if you wanted to, and you can build this up over a few weeks, you take your feet up to the same height as your knees. Once you've managed this for a while, you can take your hands away. If you wanted to, you could keep your left knee where it is and take your right leg down to within an inch of the floor. Then you can take your right foot up and take your left leg down to within an inch of the floor. Then you can catch behind the legs and straighten the legs if you wish. Then you can take away your hands and release. So there's a whole lot of different options inside of that, but it's kind of like, it's one of our yoga core strength poses if you wish. So guys, what we said we were going to do is we're going to do forward bends, which we've done in cat pose, back bends in dog pose. We're going to do twists, we've done. We've worked the hamstrings a little bit. We've got into the quadriceps. So the side bends now and a little bit of shoulder work is next. So we're still 2 meters apart here, so we're all right. Yeah. So what you want to do now is sit comfortably. If you want to put a cushion under yourself, by all means do. And what you want to do is put your right hand on the floor and take your left hand to the ceiling. Now, just do it. Just lean over like so and come back up again. Now do it again and notice your pelvis on the left-hand side, what we call your sit bone area. The moment you lean over, that left sit bone becomes lighter. So the weight has gone into your right sit bone rather than your left. So now what you want to do is come back up and go to your belly button area and drive your left sit bone through the floor so that there's no change. So your left sit bone stays buried as you go over to your right. Now all of a sudden this is a different pose. Yeah, this is a different pose. This is beautiful for badminton players. Really important that our core is engaged and we can connect it downwards. It's called rooting to rise. So root the left side of the pelvis. Root it deeply. Now take your left hand forwards about 45 degrees. Integrate the head of the arm bone like we did in the previous pose, where you draw all the energy of the hand into the back body, and then take the hand up over the head, turn your chin up towards the ceiling, have a little smile, and stretch forward, and slowly come back up. Now if you just pause for a whole moment, your whole left side of your body probably feels very different than your right side, which is a good thing because we've just opened it all up. Yeah? So these are basic enough poses. So now left hand to the floor, that give so much benefits. Left hand to the floor, right hand to the ceiling. And just do it for fun because we did it on the other side. Just lean over and notice that the right side gets lighter. Come back to center, go to your belly button area and drive your right sit bone through the floor. Maintain that downward action, the rooting as you go all the way. All the way. Maintain that downward and rooting action of the pelvis and the lifting action of the ribcage. This is good. Very good. So we've got our side bends now. Now take the hand forwards. Integrate the head of the arm bone so you draw all the energy back. Now you take the hand up, turn your chin up to the ceiling, turn your heart up, and full stretch. Keep that right sit bone rooted, full stretch, guys. Smile into it, do what you can. We're near the end of the class, today's class, and come all the way up. Change the cross of your legs. So whenever we have your legs crossed, simply change the cross of the legs. Take your right hand over your left knee. Some of you will get this instantly and some of you will take a second go to get. From your right hip now, send your right hip towards your hand. As you begin to turn, the energy comes from your hand to your hip, and you want to send the energy from your hip to your hand. That stabilizes the right side of the hip and the low back. As you turn, you begin to do twists. If you want to turn your rib cage, turn the center of your chest, square your shoulders. Draw the shoulder blades down your back and lift your chin just a little bit. Of course, feel free to take the corners of your mouth back and have a smile. Slowly come back to the center. Now the right hand goes over the left knee, left hand goes behind you. And again, you send the energy from your left hip out through that right hand. And you slowly begin to twist. Twist the rib cage, the heart, Shoulder blades down your back, corners of the mouth back, and smile. Slowly come back to center. Take the feet wide and just do a gentle forward bend. And now slowly, slowly, slowly come to lying out on your back. So what we're doing at the end of the class is what's called Shavasana, relaxation. So the invitation is to simply lie out, arms down both sides and palms facing upwards. And to again just close your eyes. Just like we did at the beginning of the class, take your awareness into your body. And again attend to both legs extending from your body equally. Both arms extending from your body equally. Your jawline softening. Your facial expression calming. And very gently become aware of your breathing. And begin to slow down and lengthen the exhale. Slow down and lengthen the exhale. Now you're invited to bring your mind on board. And bring the mind on board by repeating a mantra. And there are many different yoga mantras. We're going to use the one soften. S-O-F-T-E-N, soften. So the invitation is that as the breath is leaving your body, as in the exhale, on the exhale, simply say the word soften. Say it silently and mentally, soften. There will be an inhale, and on the exhale, soften. The inhale will happen naturally, the exhale happens naturally. You're simply adding the self-suggestion of soften. In with the exhale. Soften. 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 And the final invitation is to make it so that the word itself, soften, becomes softer with each repetition. So your own inner voice tone becomes softer and quieter until it's just like a whisper, a soft impression of consciousness. Soft. Soft. Each of the poses, and we've only done a few, all carry benefits for the body-mind system. These benefits are felt immediately during the pose, in that short aftermath of the pose, and it's during this relaxation time, this integration time. It's during this integration time where these are coded into your cellular memories and subtle body memories. So this is the precious part of the yoga experience, where you just open up and let your body receive the benefits of the practice, coding them deeply into your body's muscle memories, into the subtle memories. So simply be here and enjoy. Be here and enjoy. Feel free to extend this time if you have more time. However, if it's your time now to return to your daily activities or to work or school or whatever, slowly begin to deepen your breath. As you deepen your breath, begin to move fingers and toes. Be mindful as you awaken your body. When you're ready, bend up your knees. Roll over to the right. And slowly come all the way up to sitting. We really do hope that you enjoyed the very short practice. We would have loved, we would have loved to have done more with you. So it was really a matter of a selection of what we include and what we let out. from the perspective of badminton, we wanted to get the spine in, we wanted to get some quads in and some hamstrings in, and just that little bit of shoulder integration at the end. So we hope we were successful in that. We really do hope you enjoyed it. So all that's left to do is for us to thank you. Namaste. And thank you, Emma. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Eamon. That was absolutely brilliant. And what a way to wrap up our European Week of Sport. And we hope that you all enjoyed today's yoga. And if you want to play it back, of course, it will still be on the Badminton Ireland Facebook page. So thanks a mil for everyone for joining in today.